our series finale against the Washington Wild Things. We're here for our post-game talk with the coaches, field manager Chad Rhodes, Ken Klein, the pitching coordinator. We also have Harrison Nickel, the assistant coach. And I want to pan over to Craig, but last time Craig says his first one will not be on a loss. So we'll just have him enjoy some nice Buffalo Wild Wings chicken. In the cream jerseys today. I think the creams are my favorite. I've said that on the broadcast. What about you guys?
They're my favorite for sure. But obviously they're not our main colors, so we don't get to rock them on the big nights. But Sunday, with a beautiful day like today, it was nice to wear that color out there. And I like creams. Cool.
Yeah, I like the creams a lot. A tough one for Florence. 19-9 is the final. You really can't put it on the hitting because 9 runs get to the job. A lot of hits as well for Florence. Big day from Harustic. We'll talk about that later. Let's start at where it started. Matt Fernandez, a little different this time around. Do you think it was more on Fernandez there? Washington just being a good hitting team? It didn't seem like he was missing as many bats as that last start.
I didn't think that I can't say what he's thinking, so I'm not even going to go there. But he knows he's lined up to pitch against him next week. So I don't know if you try to establish something that was going to be different than what he's going to see next week. He kind of bypassed the work that he had today. I thought it went a little bit too off speed heavy early on and kind of exposed all his weapons. And then by the time he tries to go with his fastball and he's not getting some calls inside, and he's having to use it when he's behind the counts, and then going back to the same off speeds to crawl back into those, and he's just kind of getting hurt. And I think it's kind of easy to read. He got a little predictable. He kind of went in survival mode in those big innings to minimize the damage. So obviously didn't get the length out of him that we wanted or kind of needed to give our guys a blow. But we're all right. Got to see some good stuff out of Eli coming in there. I took that as a big positive outing for him. Obviously he walks away with that grand slam, a couple runs. But I thought when he came in the fire, I thought his composure, I thought his body language, I thought everything was completely different. I thought he used his stuff, pitched a little backwards too. It's not really necessarily my style, but I thought it worked for him, and to kind of slow the game down and bridge it a little bit to the rest of the bullpen.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, it's not the length you wanted, and then the bullpen has to make up for a lot of innings out of the bullpen. Good thing they do have that rest day tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
God Joker says hello, sir.
Hey.
God Joker. Well, let's toss it to the pitching coordinator, Ken Kleiman. Talking a little bit more about Eli. He bounces back, and even though it's an inflated line because of the grand slam as his last batter, I still, like Chad said, thought he looked better. From a tall lefty to a tall lefty, just on the mound pitching. What did you see from Eli today that might have not seen in those other outings?
I think a little bit more mentality. He came out and he wanted to attack guys. He wanted to get aggressive. He had a good angle. He was throwing a lot of fastballs for strikes early, and then second time after he got out of Fernandez's inning, he comes back out in a fresh, clean inning, starts landing sliders early in the count, getting the Washington batters off balance, and I think he did a good job. And like Chad said, that last pitch shouldn't define his outing. I think he had a really good bounce back outing, and hopefully he takes that and rolls with it for sure.
Yeah, Carter Hines, Connor McKay, and Jet Lotus out the pen as well. I thought they were serviceable. Hines kind of just only 2/3 of an inning pitch, not too much of an outing there. But McKay looked good. Lotus looked good in their usual spots. I guess a bigger question there. Obviously, the off day tomorrow. We never went to a position player. I don't think we went to a position player much last year, but it's a big time blowout there. Any thought of going to position player, or just trying to get those guys an outing?
I ain't going to position player if I got fresh arms ready to throw bullets. This is professional baseball, and I'm going to give guys professional opportunities and not make a mockery of anything in the first 2 weeks of the season, especially if I got 13 arms and saying I can't cover 9 innings is crazy. Do I ever want to go to position player? No, I don't, ever. I think it's almost an embarrassment to what's going on if I got to do that. Misuse somebody or somebody didn't get their job done, so everybody else got to carry the load. And it's not necessarily fair to a position player for me to do that, and I don't like it. I think it shuts down the offense. I don't think there's any good that comes from it. That being said, yeah, there's times you got to. But right now we got 13 arms, and I got the luxury to be able to have that extra guy. And if I got bullets in the pen that can throw and that are ready to go, then I'm going to use them.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. Like I said, I thought it was the off day tomorrow. Everyone's going to have a fresh arm either way for that next series. So it's good to see. Let's swing it over to the hitting side. A good amount of hits today. Steven Harasich obviously at the plate. 3 home runs.
Yeah.
That's 8 RBIs for the kid. 14 total bases. That's the most I've seen in my time here with the Y'alls. Only obviously a year, but really looking good at the plate and breaks out in a big way. But kind of leading up to it, he just was getting unlucky.
Correct.
What did you see from Steven today?
I just saw the guy keep doing the same ABs he's been doing, like you said. Getting a little unlucky. We knew a day like today was coming. Kind of stinks that it gets watered down by how the game was going. The guy has something at the plate like that. Huge momentum swings that could have happened in that game with him having some of those ABs. But that's just kudos to him staying ready no matter how the game's going. I feel like pretty much our whole lineup did that. There were a couple ABs that ended up going quick. It just looked like it was right there. Let's just swing to swing. But for the most part, I thought it was a pretty mature approach. I thought we did have some quick outs once we got some guys on, but we had a really young lineup today. But, yeah, kudos to Steven staying locked in the whole game.
Yeah, and you could touch a little bit more on that. We had 5, rookies, not rookies, but new to the Y'alls at the bottom of the lineup here. Some big days. Hector Nieves gets 2 hits. Brandon Bobo gets 2 hits. Their first hits with the Y'alls. What'd you like from Bobo and Nieves today?
Love seeing them be patient and also being aggressive. Bobo was getting a swing off since AB1. Same with Hector. Hector was kind of getting a little bit of big league treatment, a lot of changeups in a row, and he ended up making him pay with that double. And same with Bobo. Bobo had already had a couple lineups under his belt, and the few times we got to put him in, so him just going into today being calm and keep getting that swing off, we really showed. So kudos to both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I love seeing it, and Nieves just got such a sweet swing. A couple long foul balls. I thought that might have had the distance there. Even if the wind was blowing towards left, gets it to right. Maybe he's got his first
For sure.
with the Y'alls. But no, exciting to see some of these young guys in the lineup here. Chad, what was kind of your plan going out there? Really flipping the lineup around. Some big names on the bench. Zaid, Hank, and obviously the hitting coordinator Craig Massey. But what you just want to see from the young guys out there today?
I mean, like I said, we're in the first 2 weeks of the season, so I got to see what guys are. And it was a good time for me to get them in. It's a Sunday day game. So we're still rolling into me the first week of the season. I got to get those guys reps because if they're gonna contribute to be a part of this team, we're gonna make the run that we believe we're gonna make. Then it's gonna take everybody. So I'm not worried about any lineup that I put out there being able to execute and win the game. That's not it. But I was excited. I want some youthful game. To me, it was really matched up perfect for a Sunday day game. It's been a grind. We've been on the road for a little bit, and we've been doing a lot of work and hadn't really had a big break until we got now. So I wanted to get those guys out there before we get rolling next week, and because they're all going to be seeing some time and finding some good spots for them to be on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess the other storyline of the day, no update on Eddie Javier Jr. I'll break that news. We'll continue following that. Probably something on the ankle, but hopefully he ends up okay. Let's flip the script to the next series against Gateway coming in to Thomas More Stadium. Sean Gamelin on the mound.
Game will have Tuesday and Sunday this next week. So yeah.
So a dual week for Tuesday, Sunday, and you mentioned it. That's probably a big storyline to follow as well. Fernandez going to play Washington again over the weekend, Memorial Day weekend. So we'll continue to follow that. But game one, third start of the season, hoping for the best. Obviously against Gateway, who comes in pretty hot, kind of trying to quiet the storm. What do you want to see in the next series from the get go?
It's team Gateway, see what they're working with. Got a little different lineup than they had last year. They always have good arms. They always have decent arms. They got good bullpen arms, but their arms aren't better than our offense as far as through and through. So I'm excited to see how that plays out because I think they're going to be a little pesky on the bases. They're going to do that type of stuff. So it's a little different dynamic than we have played. And then I am excited to go back on the road and play the same team in a week in Washington and see how that series rolls out at their place.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one too. Spoiler alert: Mom and Pa Tedimer will be at the Washington series, so we'll have some fans as well for the Florence Y'alls.
Love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited for Gateway. Kind of just toss the script on this one. Get ready for the next series. Anything you guys want to add?
Any questions?
Questions?
We have a guy Joker who wanted to say, please sir, see my chat. We were just saying hello, sir, and then Josh Paff says, who's the coach? We got assistant coach here, Harrison DeNicola, Kent Klein, the pitching coordinator, Chad Rhodes, the field manager, and the hitting coordinator, Greg Massey over there as well. So we got 4 coaches, and then he is the head field manager.
Don't call me coach.
No coach. No
Manager.
coach.
Bro.
Coordinator.
Either way, next game at Thomas More Stadium, $2 Tuesday. Come on out, 6:40. Start against the Gateway Grizzlies. We're looking forward to it. Come on out to Thomas More Stadium. $2 tickets. You can't beat that. So
Nope.
let's have some fun. And thank you for joining us on the Y'alls postgame show.
Shout out Squares.